Hey guys, we lost track of time. We were having such a great conversation with Chris, so we decided to break it up for you. So this is the second part, us continuing our conversation. Here it is. So let's talk a little bit more about the business. So the business model. Let's talk about those 5 or 10 years. Where do you see Minute Mortgage, and what does that look like to you?
So how I see our growth taking place and how I see it, overall over month to month, year to year from where we started, what we're implementing, the resources that we're investing in, and I'll speak on Minute Mortgage, and I'll just speak overall HomeSmart and the ABAs as an entity. When you have such investment from a company standpoint into marketing, into improving your products, you can only grow. In 5 years, I could see our production increasing 500%, if not more. There's just no doubt about it. Hopefully we're in more states. And I think we're going to gain significant market share to the point where, the states that we're in now, which are Arizona and Colorado, I think we'll be a top 5 player. From a market capture standpoint, and we already are from a fee standpoint, from a value prop standpoint, we already are. We just need time to capture that market share, and we're slowly capturing. Every month I look at the report and we gain market share slowly but surely.
Awesome. So thinking about the ABAs and how they work together, could we talk a little bit more about like what that looks like here in particular? Like for instance, table funding. How would something like that work?
Yeah, great topic. So table funding is when basically everybody, the real estate agent, escrow officer, the mortgage loan officer, the buy agent and the sell agent all meet at the table, and they basically complete a real estate transaction. This is referred to as table funding. Now in Arizona, usually the wire or the funding for the home is not sent over with the closing docs. The docs are signed, then the bank or the mortgage broker reviews the documents, makes sure everything's in order, and then they send the wire. This can delay the process, it can slow up the process, especially if there is an error. Imagine gathering everybody all together, them completing the documentation, sending it back to the mortgage broker, there's a mistake, and then having to do it all over again, okay? With Minute Mortgage, and we'll talk about Equitable Title, we're able to actually wire the funds with the closing documents to avert that whole thing. So this is what I'm talking about when we were talking about in-house companies and one-stop shop. We're really literally able to speed up the process and make it more efficient because everything's in-house. If there is an issue, we can walk 5 feet and talk to the person and be able, okay, we got to resolve this. They're at the closing table right now. Let's do it and take care of it. It just speeds it up, makes it more efficient, removes any kind of anxiety and stress, and agents can know and be confident that they're at the closing table and they're using Equitable Title and Minute Mortgage. The deal's going to get closed. There's nothing more frustrating than pumping in deals into your pipeline and then later being not aware, no communication, not knowing where you are, right? Then we have that mobile app. ETA is extremely communicative as well, and it blowing up. And that's the hardest thing. As an agent, the most important thing for you is managing your time. And, the perks of saving time and efficiencies in the sense of wiring over funds with closing docs and be able to communicate really quickly. And our companies being so close together is you guys can just close more. There's no doubt about it. Agents can close more deals. And that's what we're trying to push across all the brands is you can just make more.
Well, I like that, right? That's for everybody. That's better for everybody.
Absolutely.
Cool. Man, you got me over in Australia now on the beaches, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So when you're out there, you're spending your time there studying. Is there anything you read that touched you, or is there anything in your life that you've read that you're like, yeah, this is it? Is there a book in your life that you felt good about?
So I'll mention 2 things. So first is I'll talk about a book I read it every summer.
Okay.
And the reason why I read it every summer is Jurassic Park. The reason why I read it every summer, it was the first chapter book I read as a kid.
Cool.
So I don't know what it is about this. I don't know. It's the adventure. It's dinosaurs. I love dinosaurs. I read it every summer. So I always read that consistently. In Australia, it was my, summer came around, I have to read it once. Wasn't life-changing or altering, it was just I love the book. And as for life-changing, altering, it's not a book, but what I highly recommend is I liked listening to his lectures is Alan Watts. I don't know if you've ever heard of him. He's an American English professor, and he talks all about life and how you perceive life. And he really changed my perceptions, especially when I watched his videos in high school and college, and still once in a while I'll rewatch them. But that probably was the most life-changing and life-altering and impactful on me was, the idea behind Alan Watts, I'll give a quick summary, is, there's nothing really to be so concerned about. Everything has a resolution, and there's a lot of things out of your control. And you kind of just take it how it is, and, stressing about it, worrying about it, or being anxious about it is not going to help any situation. And there's really almost so much as what you can do. And assuming you can do something is kind of egotistical to a certain point, and you kind of just have to go with it and make the best decisions with the data you have at that moment, which is really all we could do. People put too much pressure on themselves, thinking they can change the situation. They really can't. And there's a lot of other lectures, but that's one of the main ones, that really stuck with me. And I think that's why I can handle pressure, a hectic schedule, and overall, just conflict in general, built my emotional intelligence and stuff of that nature.
It's interesting. I like that. With that perspective, I typically like to ask if there was anything that you redo. With that type of perspective, is there still anything in your life you're like, man, you know what? I'd probably redo that night.
I've made some dumb decisions in my life, don't get me wrong. But to be honest with you, not to sound cliche, but I learned the most from messing up. And I'm noticing that I think I'm messing up less as I get older. But no, overall, it keeps it entertaining, right? So when you mess up, it's either you get a pit in your stomach of like worry or shame or anger or what have you. But overall, that's living, right? Our feelings are the things that separate us from many other things on this planet. And that's, one of the things is whether it's sad, angry, or, happy or elated, or however you want to put it, each end of the spectrum balances each other out. So you can't really understand the full gravity of being happy as much as you can't understand the full gravity of being like upset and angry. And when you're in each of these, you just have to enjoy it and go for the ride, not to get too caught up in it. So I don't have a specific example of a mistake, but either way, I don't really mind them. And, no matter as much as it affects me sometimes, it's okay,
Right. It's humility, right?
Yes, exactly.
Keeps us human. Cool. I wanted to kind of go back to the business side of things. Yeah. And there was a question on my mind that I had, and it's totally just bloop, gone away. It happens that time.
Yeah, absolutely.
It happens. It just has to do with how we work together again through Minute Mortgage and Equitable Title. So going back to just the closing process, if we're in that situation where we're last minute, we're back and forth, we typically use notaries at that instance. How does that work with you guys?
Yeah, so if there's one thing that I'll speak on a little bit is even pre-pandemic, right? We had mobile notaries and electronic signings, especially for our title company, Equitable Title. And since we work so closely with Minute Mortgage, that was also an option. All our closing docs can be viewed and e-signed digitally. So you can complete a whole transaction with Equitable Title and with Minute Mortgage just 100% digitally. So pre-COVID, we had all these tools set up. When COVID hit, there's a lot of mortgage lenders I was talking to, there's a lot of title people that were a little concerned because they had to change over their whole business processes to react to the environment. We already had this in place. So we actually saw an uptick in business while other people were seeing a downtick. And I think it really, for the first time ever, demonstrated the power of our value proposition. If there's anything, as terrible as COVID is for many people, loved ones, stuff of that nature, if there is one positive, I think it really brought out what the power of what we can do with our technology and how we can accommodate even the most extreme situations because of our agile thinking and because of our technological tools. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, any last words? Any last words you'd like to say to the audience, I guess?
The only last words I could say is, give us a shot. Just throw us one deal. We're not asking for all your business. Try us once. Like I said, I can't stress enough how, once you put one deal through, you see how it changes your workflow. It makes your time more efficient. I think you get more accurate closings, more transparent closings. I think you'll learn that it's going to be an integral part of your toolbox, an integral part of your real estate business. Just try it once. One deal, that's it. And I think it's going to be extremely refreshing for you to see how that changes your real estate business. But that's it. That's all I have to say. And Marlo, I appreciate you having me on.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Thanks for coming on. Where can the people find you at?
People can find me. My email is Alvord, so CAALVORD @hsmove.com. And my number is, give me 1 second, 480-889-7017. And anybody can reach out to me, feedback, if they want a mortgage or be referred over to a title rep, or just interested for more information, please don't hesitate to reach out. Negative or positive, we'll take the feedback so we can stay competitive and change our value props.
Sweet. Appreciate you being on, man.
Thank you, Marlo. I appreciate it.
Yeah.